In this video, we want to look quickly at all of the major ideas you'll need to be successful in the AP exam with limits. So to begin with, let's look at a picture. So with a picture, we often are asked about left hand, right hand, and then just overall limits. And the thing to remember is for a limit to exist, you must be approaching the same y value from both sides. It doesn't matter what the actual value is. So for instance, here, we're approaching from the negative side. That's what that little 0 minus means, is from the negative side, we're approaching a y value of 3. And you'll see we are also approaching that same y value from the positive side. We're approaching 3. And therefore, the limit at 0 is 3. Now, if I said, yeah, but what's the actual value at 0? Well, that appears to be 4. You see that right here. Now, what that means is that the function has a limit, but it isn't continuous there. To be continuous, the value of the limit needs to be the same as the value of the function. All right, the limit as we approach 2 from the negative side. So again, coming from the negative side, you'll see we're approaching a y value of 5. From the positive direction, we're approaching a y value of 3. And therefore, the limit does not exist at that spot because it needs to be approaching the same thing from both the negative and positive directions. Now, what if this were presented instead as a piecewise function? So let's just run through quickly. It's the linear function x plus 2 for values less than 0. It's the parabola x squared for values between 0 and 2. And it's this line, negative 3x plus 10, for values bigger than 2. So the first thing, whenever I'm faced with a piecewise function like this, is I say, okay, 0 from the negative side. So coming from below 0, which of the three functions is it? Of course, it's this top one, because this is the one that represents when we're less than 0. So you just plug 0 in, and of course, 0 plus 2 is 2. Now, 0 from the positive side. 0 from the positive side. So again, now we find the one that's to the right or positive side of 0. So x squared, we plug 0 in here. So 0 squared is 0. So the limit at 0 does not exist because on the negative side it's approaching 2, and on the positive side it's approaching 0. Well, 2 from the negative side. So again, we say, well, on the negative side of 2, so from 0 to 2, it's this. So we plug 2 in here and we get 4. So that's what you're approaching. And on the positive side, so above 2, we're looking at this function. And just to kind of reiterate what we set up here, it doesn't matter what the value of the function is. So even though it's going to be an open circle, that's okay because it's what we're approaching. So if I plug 2 in here, negative 6 plus 10 is 4. So the limit is 4. So to just kind of sketch this idea, we had a parabola like that, and then we had a line after that. But it was actually, the limit was approaching 4 from both sides. So the parabola was approaching 4 and the line. All right, so now, again, this is kind of a crash course to have seen everything for the AP exam. So there are some things here that maybe you learn later in the course, but let's just briefly talk about the different types of limits that you may encounter with functions. So, for example, the first thing I would always look to do with a limit is plug in the number. So let me just show you one of those. If I just plugged in 3 here, 2 times 3 squared, so 2 times 9 is 18, minus 5 is 13. Don't ever look at a limit and assume you're going to need to do more than plug it in. You should always try that first. 5 times 2 cubed, so 8, so 40, plus 4, so 44. Here, if I plug in 0, I get 0 divided by 4. Well, 0 divided by 4 is 0, which, just as an aside, let me just say if we get 0 divided by some other number, not 0, I'm going to pick a number here like 4, well, that's 0. But if I got 4 divided by 0, that does not exist. Okay? The only time you might have more work to do is if you got 0 in the numerator and the denominator. All right? So let's go back to a question like that. Let's plug in 2 here. We get 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 squared minus 4 is 0. So this is a situation where we have to do more work. Again, if it was one of these where there was only a 0 in the numerator or denominator, you'd be done. It's only a situation where you get 0 in both. Now, in this, if you're kind of at the beginning of a calculus course, you're taught to factor and replug in, or factor and divide and replug in. I'm going to approach this that you're at the end of a calculus course and you've learned L'Hopital's rule. So let me show you the way you would write L'Hopital on the AP exam. You would start by saying the top is going to 0 and the bottom is going to 0. You should not write 0 divided by 0 because you are saying it is indeterminate. And that's not what we're saying. We're saying we're going to solve this. So you will write, if this was a free response, you'd write that the top and bottom are both 0. Then L'Hopital's rule says we take the derivative of the top, the derivative of the bottom, and we reevaluate the limit. And I'm actually going to write here, and the spelling doesn't really matter, but I'm going to write L'Hopital, which you should do. You should say the top's going to 0, the bottom's going to 0. I'm doing L'Hopital, and we try it again. Plugging in 2, we get 1/4. Sorry, 1/4. Okay, let's do another one. Here, if I plug in -1, I get 1 minus 3 plus 2. So top going to 0, and so is the bottom. So we're going to do L'Hopital's rule. So I'm going to just kind of squeeze this in below. We got 2x plus 3, 1. Take the limit as x approaches -1. That would be 1. And finally, plugging in -5. So 0, 10 minus 35 is also 0. So again, let's get the notation down. Let's make sure we got it right. Arrow, right, L'Hopital, and derivative of the top and the bottom, and we reevaluate the limit. All of these things are important to write. It's important to write the top and bottom are going to 0 because that establishes that we can use L'Hopital. It's important to write L'Hopital so you say what you're doing, and then you want to do the derivative of the top and bottom, but you also want to restate the limit. This is -1/3. All right, to finish up, let's talk about limits going to infinity. The one thing you should always be prepared to do is to think to yourself, as we go to infinity, what is happening to pieces like this right here, 1 over x? Well, 1 over something getting infinitely large, this is approaching 0. This entire thing is approaching 0. So 2 plus something approaching 0 is 2. Now, another piece, and I purposely wrote these problems this way, another piece to remember are your laws of dominance. And the laws of dominance say you should always look for the highest powered thing. If the highest powered thing is in the numerator, I'm going to write laws of dominance. Highest powered things in the numerator, limit does not exist. Highest powered thing is in the denominator, the limit is 0. If it's the same, we use the coefficients. Okay. So for instance here, the highest powered thing in the top is 4x, the bottom is 2x. Well, those are the same powered things. So we use the coefficients. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this limit is 4. 2 from the first parentheses, 2 from the last parentheses. Now, it might not always mix, but for example, if you had a limit as x went to infinity, and on the top you had 3x plus 1, and on the bottom you had e to the x plus 2, well, e to the x is more powerful than 3x, so that limit is 0. Look for the highest powered thing. And again, if it's in the denominator, the limit doesn't exist. If it's in the numerator, if it's in the denominator, the limit's 0. If it's the same, use the coefficients. All right. 1 over x, again, this is approaching 0. I'm just going to make a note here. This is approaching 0. 4 over infinity is also approaching 0. Well, the cosine of 0 is 1, so we've got 1 divided by 1 plus 0. This limit is 1. Again, this should be a crash course in everything you should need to look at limits on the AP exam.